Well, there was very little in it, so we should be in for an excellent race. And now, let's join the second race of the day.
Okay, red lights are on. Green, green, green at Thruxton for race number 2. And I am now hoping that here today I can manage to elevate my position, and already I just got wrecked. I don't know who that was that wrecked me, but someone definitely just wrecked me. As I would have expected them to. Because, well, that's pretty much what happened in the race prior to this, and I'm now down at the back of the pack once again, and all I have to do is just fight my way through the field, and then maybe if it's possible, I can manage to achieve a win, potentially. Because I finished second last time, and it would be nice if I could manage to, you know, execute by scoring a win to compensate. And yep, and the two Peugeots are fighting hard at the moment. And Warwick is also caught up in this battle between the two Peugeots and Fords. And gives me a little bit of contact there as I end up making contact with one of the Fords, and I'm now down at the back once again. So even though I can get around the corners a lot smoother now, this I would suspect is going to be a tough race. But if it does become possible, I might be able to redeem myself. If I can manage to keep the mistakes to a minimum. And why was I in the gravel? Well, anyways, 13 seconds up on my previous best lap time. Probably because I wasn't spun out like I was on the first lap. And I think overtaking these guys is going to be a pretty tall order, considering the experience I've already had here at Thruxton and absolutely hated. And just, you know, absolutely hated as a result. And yep, those two Fords are not going to let me go quietly, as much as I'd really want them to. And it looks as though Derek is now closing in on the Nissan, so he is trying to get himself into the points, but so am I. A little bit of contact there. That was that was not intentional, and I am officially up into 11th position now after 2 laps. And trying to see if I can do what I did last time by pretty much limiting the damage, since that's all I can really hope for at the moment. And anything further, that might be a pretty tall order. Although the second race at the moment is going anything but the way I want it to go. And Derek actually overtook someone. Although it's a shame to say he had to rear-end me in the process, and there's no way I'm going to save it unless I slam on the brakes. And this race is going anything but well at the moment. Oh, okay. Pretty sure there is a button to change the view. Oh, there is. Okay. Hey, cockpit view. Okay. Anyways, I'll stop messing around now. I really do need to try and make it so I can at least put myself in a position that's attainable. But hopefully things will go better next time out at Brands Hatch. Because, well, the second race, to say the least, at the moment, it has been mediocre. Because even though I have been pushing for top 10s, even though I have been pushing for a top 10 run, the second race at the moment has gone anything but well. And it actually makes me sad to say that, because I was really hoping this would go better, but apparently it hasn't. It's actually gone worse. This is not for the betterment of my championship hopes, it's actually for the worsenment. Unless I can really start to get the hammer down and keep my mistakes to a bare minimum, because my car at the moment, it looks like shit. So I think it'll be considered an achievement if I do manage to finish inside the points, but anyways. I have met my minimum target of going for 60 points on this weekend, so that's one target I don't have to worry about beating, but again, it would be nice if I can score a top 5 out of this. Then at the very least I am trying to keep the damage I've already sustained up to this point down to a bare minimum. And 7.5 seconds is now the interval. So I am slowly closing in on the Nissan, it looks like, of presumably Anthony Reid, who was up ahead of me, but it's just going to be a matter of knowing if I can keep my damage, if I can keep the damage I've sustained to a bare minimum. So under 5 seconds now is the interval, and trying to see if I can knock on the door of the top 10. It would be nice if I could, because it's only the top 10 point scorers, sorry, only the top 10 finishers who do score points. And if I do manage to achieve this, then I will be relieved. And I'm definitely closing in on the points now, because I can see one of the Audis in front of me. It also looks like one of the Hondas is just up ahead as well, so trying to see if I can... oh, sorry. Correction, it's one of the Volvos that's in front, not one of the Hondas. The Hondas are further up front. And looks as though the Audi of presumably Bintcliffe has stepped on the brakes. We are now nearly 6 laps into this event, and I am knocking on the doors of 8th position as I'm now heading through the chicane, going round the outside of Leslie Burt up into, sorry, Kelvin Burt, as I am now up into the 8th position and 1.5 seconds now behind the leading Audi of, I'm going to assume, Frank Bieler, who is now right behind the leading Volvo of Ricard Rydell, and going to see if I can tailgate him, see if that can maybe give me some more speed, even though my car practically looks like it just survived a scrap heap. And my voice basically sounds like I've been walking through a desert for about 20 to 25 minutes. I have no idea how that did not spin me out, but somehow it didn't. But anyways, a little bit of contact there with Ricard. I can assure you that was not intentional. Of course, I did have to muscle my way past. And yep, I should have known that was coming. Well, I should have known that was coming. I have no idea how neither of those guys dropped out. I mean, I was clearly spinning, and I'm pretty sure had that impact been any harder, then I'm pretty sure that would have resulted in something much worse. Much more cataclysmic than it would have been. Even though I almost saved it. But yeah, I mean, I'm honestly surprised to say how, in spite of knowing how much damage there is, I'm very surprised to see that my car is still running. Which I think is a miracle in and of itself. To know that my car is still running in spite of how much bodywork damage I have on this car. And I think even achieving a top 5 up to this point, because of how shit my car looks, would be considered an achievement. So my simple response is to all of this: fuck Thruxton. Because the AI almost have no discipline whatsoever when it comes to racing the player around this track. So yeah, so I can basically say fuck Thruxton in this game. And it honestly surprises me to say how, from all of this, I'm not dead yet. Even though I'm pretty sure by now I probably would be. Well, at least I can say these back markers will help me out. Maybe if it's possible I can even get up to 5th. And not too far off my best lap time. And oh, fuck all of you! Fuck all of you! Thruxton, I fucking hate you. And I think I'll be surprised if I even manage to score 4th up to this point. There is just literally no respect around this track in any way whatsoever. Now I know how it feels to be in modern day NASCAR. Where for basically the plate tracks, it's basically all take and no give, more or less. Well, it's either that or it's basically every NASCAR race that's on road courses and you know, fucking road courses. It just feels like everyone has just totally lost the plot of knowing what self-respect is. And I think that is becoming more and more apparent. Especially if you consider NASCAR's rigged you win and you're in system. And that's basically what this feels like. but I'm honestly surprised to say that I'm up into 6th position and missed everything that's already gone down. And I think if I don't have any more mistakes, and I doubt that's going to be the case, but if I don't have any more mistakes up to this point, I'd say the best position I can hope for is presumably 5th. And I am assuming that because, well, this race has just been a chaotic shit show. Because this race for me has just been a chaotic shit show. And no matter what happens, I think Menu probably is going to take the lead coming out of this weekend. Which means at Brands Hatch, I'm really going to have to bounce back. And I mean bounce back hard. If I am going to put myself back in the lead of the championship. I mean, I led the championship by 5 points going into Thruxton. And now I'm on 69 points, and the way I see it, if I finish in 5th, I'm probably on course to scoring about what? I'm going to shut my mouth right now and just get the fuck on with this. You know what? Fuck this. I'm gonna shut my mouth right now and just get on with this fucking race. Because I fucking hate you, Thruxton. I am just going to get on with this race and keep my mouth shut.
for first place. The closest finish we've seen for some time. Let's have a look at the final race positions.
Oh, okay. So apparently it was Jason Plato who won that race in the end ahead of Menu. Then we had the two Hondas ahead of me. Rydell finishes 6th, Leslie 7th ahead of Bintcliffe. And I'm actually surprised to say on how, in spite of all the chaos, there were no DNFs in that race. Burt was 9th ahead of Beeler, Reed 11th, followed by Will Hoy, Warwick again 13th, then we had the two Peugeots, and at the back it was once again Paul Radisich, presumably 3 laps down. But still, Jason Plato winning this race, I'm actually happy with that.
Race is over. Let's see the championship table. Well, it's anyone's championship at this stage, with very little to separate the drivers.
Okay, so 5 points to Menu. I more or less knew going into this weekend I was probably going to lose the championship lead anyway, and well, to be completely honest, this weekend has not been a total debacle. I mean, I know the second race became a debacle, but the first one, not quite so much. But all I can really say overall is, let's now move on to our next event, which takes place at Brands Hatch. Also furthermore, in this game, fuck Thruxton.